Hello, and welcome to Bliss Talk Show, where we like to build, learn, aspire, collaborate, and share keys with one another. We're trying this for the second time tonight. Seems to be a little maybe technical difficulties. Trying to get my guest on tonight, but that's okay. She's ready to go now. She goes by the name of Jewell on her page. Here she is. She's with me now. Let's get this thing started. Hey, Robert. Don't do that to me. Hold on. So, Bejeweled Hair Care. Hey, hey!
Hey.
We in there now. How you doing?
Yes, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I don't know what happened earlier. I was like talking to myself in the live. I was like, she's coming. Don't
No,
worry. She's here.
I don't know. The whole thing didn't show up, and then everything was like moved to the request. So, sometimes you don't get those notifications.
It's cool, but you're here now. And what is your
Yes.
full name? Because I got your Instagram name on my calendar, and I kept saying Bejeweled Hair Care, and I realized that's your product name.
Yeah, it's Jewel Walker.
Jewel Walker. Okay. Are you T Walker's
Yep.
sister? Yes.
Yep.
It's so good to meet you.
You
That's
too.
awesome. I did some research today and I have some questions for you. So this is Bliss Talk. I like to build, learn, inspire, collaborate, and share keys with one another. I made this sign just for our talk today. Can you
Okay.
see it? Maybe
Upside down.
it's upside down. I
Okay.
had to like make this whole thing backwards because when you put it on the camera, everything shifted backwards. But anywho, it took me like 2 minutes to make it. Nothing major. But
It's cool.
I like to have fun meeting you or just meeting. So this should be fun. Just picking your brain a little bit on how you got started with your business.
Okay.
The first thing I wanted to ask you was what inspired your product? And tell us a little bit about your
Okay.
product.
Okay. So what inspired the product was I started off as a hairstylist. I've actually been in the hair salon since I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that I'm really not somebody that's built to be standing behind a chair for like as long as I can. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't like my hands hurting, and I really don't just like the whole salon environment. And I remember that in cosmetology school, they taught us, all the different avenues of the hair industry. So I
Mm-hmm.
figured, I don't have to deal with clients that I don't want to deal with just to, make a living. I can
Mm-hmm.
go another route. So I started off selling just edge control. And
Mm-hmm.
when I started that, I sold out within the first week. So I said, okay, I can do this thing. And then I started doing my research and the full product line came about. But it really was like a dream. I was asleep
Right.
and I had a dream that I was selling hair products. And I woke up and I was just like, all right, let me do that. So I write everything down. I wrote it down. Within like 4 months, I found a manufacturer and we just started that whole thing.
That
So
is so
that was the
dope.
start.
That's
Yeah.
crazy because my next question literally was how much research have you done? And you just tapped on it a little bit there with that question.
I did a lot and I'm somebody that may like overthink something. So it took me a while. I was just back and forth between like, should I even do it too? Like I
Mm-hmm.
saw how much work it may take and I just was like, ooh. And then the money aspect, of course. But I was like, I might as well just jump in. And it was worth it ever since. I started June 2018 officially. That was the launch date, June 30th of 2018.
Awesome. And you have a website and everything?
Yes, www.bejewelledhaircare.com.
That's awesome. I'm super proud of you. That's
Thank you.
inspiring. It
Yeah,
really is.
thank you.
And you said it took a lot of research, a lot of work. So can you describe what that process was a little bit?
Yeah, so as far as research goes, I know I wanted to take like the natural route. I didn't want to do the whole chemical thing. I also pay attention to the trends, and I know for me being a hairstylist, you see a lot of people that's like suffering hair loss and people don't know how to take care of their own hair. So that was my main motivation. Like people don't know how to take care of their hair, and hair loss is a main issue, especially in the Black community. So I wanted to go ahead and formulate some kind of products where it gets your hair growing and it's easy maintenance for my ideal customer at home. So
Mm-hmm.
I also looked into like oils. A lot of my products have natural oils. So I wanted to know, what does this oil do? What can you mix it with? What are these extra products that you could? So technically, I'm just the person that writes down the formula, send it to my manufacturer. She might edit it for me, and she
Mm-hmm.
makes it for me in bulk, sends it back to me, and I'm the lady filling the bottles and behind the formula. So that's me.
Ah, that is what's up. Um, Tell me what the beginning stages look like. I know we tapped on that just a little bit. Can you expand on that, like the beginning stages? Because a lot of times, as an entrepreneur, you get overwhelmed by that big picture.
Hmm.
So I want to know, like, what did it look for you as far as your mindset and, the very beginning, scratching things up to make something work.
Um, I will honestly say the beginning stages are stressful, and I think that has to do a lot with the individual as well. Because, like I said, I'm an overthinker, so
Mhm.
it's been times where I've literally been up just like writing in my notebook, and you stressing to see like, is this going to be something people really rock with? Is it going to be
Mhm.
something that is going to take the attention off of other brands? You don't want to dim anybody else's light, but it's just like it's constantly hammering at you. Is this going to be the it thing? So
Mhm.
you're going to have a lot of like long nights. Your mindset does have to be positivity, and it has to be full of motivation. Like you have to surround yourself around a bunch of motivation. You got to be forward thinking, and you have
Mhm.
to be action forward as well. Like you can't
Right.
just be the thinker. You got to actually do the thing. So
Exactly.
it's a little rough, but it pays off. I think you just have to be that action forward person, because I know a lot of people in the hair care industry, they don't do expos. My thing was like, my exposure is not going to be internet marketing. I want to
Right.
meet my customer. So the very beginning, I've been doing expos since I started. That's something
Mm.
for big league people. I'm
Right.
thinking of myself, I'm big league.
Right.
So
Right.
you gotta think like that.
You
Think of
got to
yourself
think like
higher than just a small business. Yep.
right. Was there anybody's formula or process that you might have been inspired by or looked at to learn more about how to do it?
Um, Not necessarily, but I do follow Kaleidoscope Products, Judy.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I've been seeing her for like years. She does skits and everything. So I noticed like I do some skits and stuff for promo. So I
Hmm.
saw her main choice. Like I look at big league products, and I don't
Right.
I don't copy anyone's things. I just see, what's their story, how did they start, how did they move about their thing, and then kind of compare myself, and I move like that too, just in my own lane.
Right.
So I got motivation from, big league people, but it's been
I
me
was going
the
to
whole time.
ask you about this. I see people with products and they take it to the expos. How do you find out about these expos?
Google.
Google.
Yes. So I might like be sitting down and get on the computer, and I'll Google like natural hair expos near me, or just natural hair expos period, and you'll get a whole lot of stuff. And just as of last year, they've been reaching out to me. So I've only been in business for 2 years. And for me to have been doing these expos for 2 years and to know like they see me now versus me just seeing them, I think I've been doing the right thing.
Right. So what do these events look like? Because I don't think I've ever been to an expo before,
Hmm.
but who is in attendance at the expos? Is it customers or people wanting to invest in products? What do we have going on there?
So these events look like how your big job fair look like. It's a bunch of tents, tables full of people just pushing their brand. But
Mm-hmm.
at these expos, you do see your ideal customer, you see your potential customer, you see investors, you see a lot of bigger business owners. And a lot of times you're next to the bigger brands. I've been near like Miel Organics, Main
Right.
Choice. The same people that I'm looking at from the background are at these same expos. And their customers are technically my customers too, because they buy from everyone.
Everyone. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
so like presentation at these expos are important. You know, you got
Mm-hmm.
to have the cleanest setup. You got to be clear about your prices. Got to be knowledgeable. You know, you can't be that nervous person that's scared to talk, because I have
Mm-hmm.
to answer a million questions at my expos. I have to go ahead and know how to recommend what goes with what, you know, different things
Right.
like that.
Right. So being knowledgeable, your
Hmm.
presentation, your setup, everything,
Yeah.
because uh, uh, a lot of times you're in competition. When you talk about business, you have to think about if you can compete with the products that are already out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so
Yes.
those people that you are competing with, or those businesses that you're competing with, they already have all that stuff down. So if you're missing one of those links, they're looking at you crazy, right?
Yeah, and I actually just had that experience, and I didn't touch on this with like anybody but like my parents and my brothers and stuff. But I went to an expo in Detroit, and that was like a huge L for me, because that expo had nothing but like big brands, and it just
Mm-hmm.
seemed to me, I think I went home feeling defeated a little bit, because it just was like I didn't measure up.
Mm,
I didn't make my money back. It was like, okay, I just got exposure, and that was it.
yeah,
So for me, that was like, okay, I took it as a learning experience,
exactly.
but I was crushed.
Definitely a learning experience.
Yeah.
And sometimes it seems like you've been doing this for a minute and well, I'm not getting anywhere. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I feel like if you can take those L's and make them into a learning experience, then you'll have that pretty diamond at the end of the day because you'll just keep, sharpening that sword. You know what I mean? With
Hmm.
all those mishaps or um, shortcomings. But that's incredibly awesome that you are actually going to the expos and research and doing your research and then coming back and saying, what can I do better? You know what I mean? How can I compete with all the other brands that are here right now?
Yeah.
Um, so my next question is, what are some of the testimonies and responses from your product?
Uh, mm. This is like one of the biggest accomplishments for me, because this is the aspect of the business that I really feel rewarded by. I have seen people that have alopecia, which, you know, their hair was told to never grow back at all. They use my products and you got a head full of hair. I actually have a testimonial bulletin right now that
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put together like a nice presentation. This lady went through chemo,
Mm-hmm.
so she doesn't have any follicles, anything. She's
Mm-hmm.
been buying my Mirror Growth drops for, I want to say, the past 7 months, and she has a head full of hair.
That's what's up.
So, you know, when doctors tell you your hair won't grow, I'm no doctor. I
Right.
don't claim to be, but I
Mm-hmm.
do claim that my products work. You know, softer hair, you get longer hair, more luscious and moisturized hair. Everything I claim, my clients and my customers, you know, they've been proving that. And I also just got a testimonial before we got on here. Somebody had dry hair, and she's been using my whole full line. Hair is longer now, it's softer, it has more luster, more shine. So I don't know. I'm getting all
That's
choked up
great.
because it really does make me happy.
It does,
Yeah.
especially when you put so much into some. This is your baby, and then when people actually enjoy it and they like your product, that's just like makes it all worth it because it's a lot of work. Can you imagine
Yeah.
somebody jogging real fast or whatever?
Yeah, I
And
was just telling my aunt something like that. Like she was asking me, what is the feedback? So I'm showing her, and I'm just like, it hits me different because this is something I stay up like all night. I stress about it. I write about it. I'm formulating, even the drops like I make here in my house. So it's like something that I'm just working so hard on for it to really
Mhm.
do what I'm aiming for it to do.
Right.
Like that's what's up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I couldn't be happier.
That's the ultimate reward right there.
Yeah.
Um, so what's the next level? Where's Bejeweled hair care going?
So we're in quarantine right now, but I am working on additional products, and of course one of my late nights turned into a thoughtful night. So I have about 5 years worth of product projections in the works right about now. So I have collections that I'm formulating right now. And I also have new products for the men's line. So I'm completely revamping the men's line. It's not going to be the same stuff. I kind of want to compact what I currently have, but I'm going to be
Mhm.
adding more stuff to the men's line. So it's about 50 products in the works right now, but it's enough to keep me fresh for the next 5 years.
Right. Do you I did you take classes or are you a business major?
No, I'm just a cosmetologist
Okay.
that just so happens to be business savvy. That's about it.
That's what's up. Because I was going to
Yeah.
ask you if you were thinking about getting maybe a brick and mortar, which is an actual store for your products.
No,
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 are you?
I don't need that stress. I like the online model better.
Hmm.
So it's more control on my behalf for online. I see everything. I can
Hmm.
look at my books easier that way. And I feel like brick and mortar may be just another bill. But I am currently, you probably getting a sneak peek right now. I am currently working on some store deals for hair stores.
Okay, that was my next question. Are you going to have it on the shelves at stores like
Yeah,
hair?
but it'll be direct. So usually with hair
Okay,
stores, they have to go through some kind of wholesale site. It'll just be direct between me and the hair store owners. So
that
yeah,
is
I got direct deals coming.
I can see that because I'm a business major, and from the research that I have done is a lot of time when the product is in their face and they can order it online, it creates more of a buzz, and you'll see more sales from that. You know what I mean? It's a
Yep.
catch 20 because of that wholesale thing. But if you're saying that it's going to be direct, that should be a lot easier to manage for you. In my
Yes.
head, that's how I'm thinking. But I
It
guess
is. It
we'll
is.
see when we get there, right?
Yeah, and I've also, I've been noticing, of course, because I told you I watch these bigger brands. A lot of times with these wholesale things, sometimes they're not getting the real product. I don't know how that works, but they're
Mm,
not getting the real thing sometimes.
right.
So
Hmm.
I don't need that mishap. I don't need the bad reviews from fake products. So I
Right.
prefer for it to be direct between me and store owners.
Absolutely. So are you on Google where they can review your products?
I'm going to work on that. But for now, everything is on my site. The SEO is just bomb on my site. So a lot of my conversions do actually come from Google. So I do pop up on Google
Okay.
if
Okay.
that's
That's
good enough.
good to me. Yeah. I'm excited for you. This is very inspiring that you started. Yeah, website. You got testimonies, and we're looking at getting you into the hair stores. Yes,
Yeah, it's time.
ma'am.
It's time.
Hey, King Jr. Hey, everybody that came and joined us today. We got Miss. You said it.
Jewel.
Jewell Walker with us, and she has a company
Yes.
called Be Jewel, and she says she's been having a lot of great reviews on her product, and she's just this awesome entrepreneur. And you know what I think is really dope about you? You said that you write stuff down. You have a book, like you're planning stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Girl, let me
yes.
tell
In my giant calendar right here, everything gets written down on my calendar.
you, girl, look at this. Look at this book. It's like it's got everything. all my notes from all my meetings, everything planned. I mean, it looks like chicken
Yeah,
scratch, but you know what I mean? I'm a huge
that's
planner
me. I
too.
got about 5 notebooks. I go by like if I didn't write it down, it won't happen.
Right. And
That's
if
just
you
how
can
I
see,
see
I
it.
put stuff on my whatchamacallit board too, my whiteboard. Gotta keep it
I already
organized.
know.
Hey, I like
Yes.
that. All right. So my final question for you today is because I like to keep these conversations short and sweet, give the people a little bit of
Mhm.
inspiration, and let them know how they can build, learn, aspire, and collaborate and share keys with each other. And I feel like we've done all the above. But one thing I really wanted to know is, do you have a mentor?
Actually, I do not.
You
I do
don't
not.
have a mentor.
No,
So,
I'm thankful I was raised strong-minded, so I'm pushing myself here. But I have brothers and parents and everything around me to push me when it's not quite there for me. So I have motivational sources, but I'm my own mentor.
right. You know, it's interesting because a lot of people that I know might not necessarily have a mentor, but I do see people who have mentors, how further along that they are in their process. You know what I mean? And so sometimes
Hmm.
I think, like, just imagine if I did have a mentor, I would be, I'll be shutting down the
I,
game right now.
I agree.
But it's so
I
hard to
agree.
find mentors. I was reading this book and they were saying that, if you do want to get yourself a mentor, then there's a certain way that you should ask for help and all this good stuff. So I think it would be something to look into, trying to figure out who to pinpoint as far as who can mentor you. I think sometimes also you're like frozen a little bit. I think. Are you moving? Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm kind of moving around myself.
And then also sometimes it's hard to find people that are doing what you're doing because I find myself I don't see people doing exactly what I'm doing per se.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But I do
Yeah.
have brilliant people around me that I like to talk to, and so maybe that's a form of mentoring. Like I had someone on my Bliss talk, and he goes by the name of Josephus. He has a radio show, and so his radio show is not exactly like Bliss talk because I have a different comp set. I like to learn from people. You know what I mean? But he does have that
Right.
communications background. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think having a mentor is cool, but that's also interesting that you don't have one and look how far you've gotten to, you know what I mean? So I thought
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to know if you did. But
Yeah,
that
I agree on that point that you made about finding the right mentor. And I think that may be the thing because, you want to find people you're also compatible with. And that's kind of like
mm-hmm,
my thing. Like I'm around like-minded people, but as far as compatibility, for me to be able to piggyback off of some of somebody else's ideas and things like that, I haven't seen that yet. And as far as like competition, like who can I look up to without them feeling like we're in competition? That's like
right,
the hardest thing, and I'm at the point where I feel like I can do it myself, and I'm not dealing with that if I don't
right.
have
I
to.
do a lot of like partnerships with people. Like I guess you can say the artist block. I don't know if you heard of them, but they have been a huge um part of my success with OLP, for example. Hey,
Hmm.
Versatile. Um, and but we're partners. So I'll bring in the entertainment and they have a venue. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but I still kind of look at them as mentors too. It's like anybody that I can talk to and get information from or get some type of knowledge from, they go in that mentor category. But I think we should come up with a different name for that because I wouldn't call that a mentor.
Right.
I don't know because it's somebody that I work with. But yeah,
I agree.
this This has been awesome. I enjoyed talking to you. I'm very proud of you, and I'm sure T
Thank
is
you.
very proud of you as well.
Thanks.
While I close up everything, I want you to give everybody your social media. And if anybody who is still in the chat with us today in the Bliss Talk, if you have any questions for me or our lovely guest today, please let us know.
Okay, so all my social media is the same. It is Bejewelled Hair Care. It is BJEWELLDHAIRCARE. And the same thing for the website is bejeweledhaircare.com. So I have Facebook and Instagram, and it's the same on both.
Hey, awesome. And I go by the name of Carmen Bliss, and I host this thing called Bliss Talk. And you can find me at cbliss_pics. And you can also visit my website, blisstalkshow.life, where we'll have this episode posted as soon as possible. Thank you so much for your time today. And thank you for letting me pick your brain.
Oh, thank you. It was fun.
Yes, let's stay in touch.
I will.
Talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.